Is George Russell really ready to be Mercedes' star driver in 2025? With Hamilton's departure, all eyes are on him, but does he have what it takes to lead the team and fight for the title? Before I tell you the truth about his evolution and what his new role means, tell me in the comments. Do you think Russell can be champion in 2025, or is there still something missing? Leave it to me below, because what's coming could change your mind. George Russell is in a key position within Formula One. He has shown speed, consistency, and a great ability to adapt, but there is still a debate. Is he really part of the elite of drivers, or does he still need something to consolidate himself? In the history of the category, there has always been a select group of drivers considered the best, those who can make a difference even with non-dominant cars. Today, that club is made up of Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, and Lando Norris. 4 names with proven talent and general recognition from the motorsport community. Verstappen is the absolute benchmark. His dominance with Red Bull has taken him to a level where there are no longer any doubts about his status. Hamilton, despite his years in Formula One, remains a reference with multiple titles under his belt. Leclerc has built his reputation with Ferrari thanks to his speed in qualifying and outstanding performances, although without a car that allows him to regularly fight for the championship. Norris, meanwhile, has been the great revelation in recent years, achieving impressive results and consolidating himself as the leader of McLaren. Within this group, Russell is the only one who still raises doubts. His talent is undeniable, but the question is whether he can be a title contender on equal terms. The statistics support his progression. In his first years in Formula One, he showed outstanding performance with Williams, a team that at the time did not have the level to compete in the midfield. His performances in qualifying and the race caught the eye of Mercedes, who already had him under their young driver program. When he finally got his chance with a competitive team, the situation at Mercedes was not ideal. The 2022 regulation change marked the beginning of a difficult era for the Brackley-based team. Despite this, Russell held his ground and took his first ever win in the category at the 2022 Brazilian Grand Prix, beating Hamilton and proving he could lead the team at key moments. But recognition as one of the best drivers doesn't come with just one win. It's built through high-level seasons, consistency in results, and the ability to outperform teammates with titles under their belt. Russell has beaten Hamilton in several aspects, especially in qualifying and in handling certain race conditions, but he has yet to have a season where he shows he is a real threat to the championship leaders. One factor that could play in his favor is the new role he will have within Mercedes. With Hamilton gone, there will no longer be internal comparisons with a 7-time world champion. Russell will be the absolute leader of the team and responsible for guiding the development of the car. This can be an advantage but also an extra pressure. In the history of Formula One, there have been drivers with great talent who never managed to take the definitive step towards the elite. Russell is at a stage in which he must prove that he is more than a promise and that he can be a title contender in 2025. His performances on track, the evolution of Mercedes, and his ability to establish himself as the new benchmark of the team will be determining factors in his path to the top. One of the aspects that differentiates good drivers from true champions is the ability to manage a race from start to finish. It is not just about being fast on a single lap, but maintaining consistent performance, making strategic decisions at the right time, and executing error-free maneuvers under pressure. George Russell has proven to be an exceptional driver in qualifying. His ability to extract maximum performance from a car in a single lap has been evident since his time at Williams. In 2024, he outperformed his teammate in multiple qualifying sessions, taking 4 pole positions while Hamilton managed none. But single-lap speed is not enough to win championships. Throughout the season, there were several races where Russell started from pole positions but failed to convert them into wins or podiums. One of the clearest examples was the Canadian Grand Prix. He started from pole position with a great chance of scoring a win, but throughout the race he lost pace and finished in 3rd position. Cases like this show that his greatest weakness is in managing pace during races. The problem does not lie solely in pure speed, but in several factors that affect his performance on Grand Prix Sundays. Tire degradation, strategic decision-making, and adapting to changing track conditions are fundamental elements in modern Formula One. On several occasions, Russell has struggled to extend the life of his tires compared to his direct rivals. A driver like Verstappen has perfected the art of keeping tires in good condition without losing track time, while Russell has sometimes seen his performance drop in the final stages of the race. Another key point is execution under pressure. In qualifying, a mistake can cost you grid positions, but in the race, a bad decision or a rash move can mean the difference between a podium finish and finishing outside the points. Russell has made mistakes at critical moments, such as when he crashed on the final lap of the 2023 Singapore Grand Prix while fighting for the podium. Recovery ability is also a determining factor. Great drivers can maximize their performance even when things don't go as expected. On several occasions, Russell has struggled to fight back in races where he has lost positions early on. While other drivers can adapt their strategy and make up ground efficiently, Russell still has room for improvement in this area. Despite these weaknesses, the good news for Russell is that race pace is an area that can be worked on and improved with experience. Formula One has seen cases of drivers who have evolved in this area over time. Leclerc, for example, had similar problems in his first few seasons, but has improved his tire management and decision-making in the race. For 2025, Russell's challenge will be to close that gap. Now the leader for Mercedes, he cannot afford to miss out on valuable point-scoring opportunities due to race management issues. His single-lap performance is one of the best on the grid, but he needs to translate that speed into consistent results on Sundays. If he can improve in this area, his title bid will be much stronger and Mercedes will have in him a driver capable of fighting Verstappen and the rest of the contenders on the grid. One of the aspects that separates good drivers from true champions is the ability to manage a race from start to finish. It's not just about being fast over one lap, but about maintaining consistent performance, making strategic decisions at the right time and executing error-free maneuvers under pressure. With the departure of Lewis Hamilton to Ferrari, George Russell faces the most decisive moment of his career. For years, Mercedes had a clear reference within the team, a driver who set the direction of the development of the car and who led on and off the track. Now that role is completely in Russell's hands. The big question is whether he is ready to take on the responsibility of being the team's #1 driver or whether he will simply be a bridge to a future Mercedes bid. The history of Formula One has shown that not all drivers who take on the leadership of a team manage to establish themselves. Some seize the opportunity to become champions, while others end up being replaced by more solid figures. For Russell, this is his big test, and his performance in 2025 will determine whether Mercedes places its trust in him in the long term or whether it will look for a new leader in the future. A key aspect in this transition is the arrival of Andrea Kimi Antonelli, the young Italian talent that Mercedes has promoted to Formula One without going through Formula 2. While Antonelli does not yet have the necessary experience to compete directly with Russell, his development will be closely followed by the team. If George fails to establish himself as an undisputed leader in the coming years, Mercedes could choose to build its future around Antonelli rather than Russell. Mercedes' recent decisions reinforce the idea that Russell is seen as the pillar on which the team's new era will be built. The renewal of his contract and his salary increase to $18 million per season are clear signs that the team has confidence in his potential. However, a team's confidence in a driver is directly related to results. If Russell fails to prove that he can lead Mercedes back into the championship fight, that confidence could quickly disappear. In terms of performance, Russell has shown qualities that bring him closer to the best drivers on the grid. In 2024, he outqualified Hamilton and took victories that reaffirmed his ability to lead in certain conditions. But there are still doubts about his consistency over the course of a full season. The difference between being a good driver and being a world champion lies in the ability to maintain a high level in all races, minimizing errors and maximizing opportunities. Another determining factor in his evolution as a leader will be his ability to influence the development of the car. Over the years, drivers such as Schumacher, Alonso, Hamilton and Verstappen have shown that a true leader is not only fast on the track, but also knows how to guide his team in the right direction. Russell has worked alongside Mercedes engineers since joining the team, but will now have a much more important role in decision-making. 2025 will be the year in which Russell's future within Mercedes will be defined. If he manages to take charge with authority and achieve solid results, his position within the team will be consolidated. But if he shows weaknesses or if Antonelli begins to get too close in performance, Mercedes could reconsider its strategy and look for a new driver to lead its long-term project. This is the moment in which George Russell must prove that he is not just a transitional option within Mercedes, but the driver who can return the team to the fight for the world title. George Russell is at a crucial stage in his career. He has shown talent, speed and determination, but now he faces the biggest challenge since he arrived in Formula One, leading Mercedes in the post-Hamilton era and establishing himself as a true title contender. The question is no longer whether he has potential, but whether he can convert it into consistent results throughout a full season. The statistics show that he has evolved and that his qualifying performance is elite, but the key to his success in 2025 will depend on his ability to improve in the race. He has had some brilliant moments, such as his wins and pole positions in 2024, but he has also made mistakes that have cost him valuable points. Formula One does not forgive a lack of consistency, and any weakness can be exploited by his rivals. The future of Mercedes also plays a decisive role in his path to the top. If the team manages to develop a competitive car, Russell will have the opportunity to show that he can be the driver to return the German team to the fight for the championship. But if the car still does not live up to Red Bull and McLaren, he will have to find a way to maximize every opportunity, just as other great drivers have done in the past. 2025 will be the year in which George Russell will have to answer all the doubts that still exist about his ability to be an absolute leader. He has the confidence of the team, the talent, and the necessary experience, but only time will tell if he is ready to take the next step and become the new benchmark for Mercedes. Now the question is for you. Do you think Russell is ready to take on this challenge and fight for the title in 2025, or does he still have aspects to improve before entering the elite of Formula One? Leave your opinion in the comments. And if you want to know more about how Mercedes is working to return to the top, subscribe and turn on notifications. See you in the next analysis.